The Black Lives Matter chapter in Washington, D.C. is now criticizing the media's response to a police officer who was shot and wounded over the weekend. It is claiming that officers are, quote, automatically treated as heroes. That according to Fox News. Meantime, at this hour in New York City, there's a memorial for Officer Jason Rivera outside the NYPD's 32nd precinct. Rivera's wife calling him a beautiful angel. Our Sarah Williamson joining us now live from New York with more on this story. Sarah.
Well, Bianca, it certainly has been a real somber and emotional scene this morning here at the 32nd precinct, where a makeshift memorial stands in honour, as you mentioned, of that fallen soldier, 22-year-old Jason Rivera. And behind me, people are continuing to arrive and pay their respects to him and his partner, 27-year-old Wilbert Mora, who was also shot and is still at this hour fighting for his life. Now, last night a vigil was held right here outside this police precinct here in Harlem to represent solidarity between the officers and the community. Nearby residents gathered with the officers for prayers and to thank those who work here and risk their lives every day to protect this community. Now, after this unnerving rash of violence that New York has experienced of late, and just in his first 3 weeks in office, in fact, Mayor Eric Adams last night addressed the issue of illegal guns on the streets and has announced a new multi-pronged approach to tackling this issue. Now, the plan included a restoration of an anti-gun police unit as well as reinforcement of officers in high crime areas. Let's take a quick listen to some of what he had to say.
We must stop the flow of illegal guns in our city. The iron pipeline must be broken. The NYPD is our first line of defense against gun violence. We will make new efforts to strengthen and reinforce it while continuing our mission to involve the community. We will start by putting more officers on patrol in key neighborhoods throughout the city. We will enhance existing public safety units with new neighborhood safety teams, which will focus on gun violence. We will launch these additional teams in the next 3 weeks with deep focus on 30 precincts where 80% of violence occurs.
And it's also important that I mentioned that Jason Rivera and Wilbert Mora were actually the 4th and 5th police officers to be shot in New York this year so far. So this message from Mayor Adams comes at a really important time as this recent spat of violence has led to renewed calls from city officials to wind back those bail reform measures that took effect just before the pandemic hit. And in a sign of shifting concerns, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said earlier in the day that he would aggressively prosecute gun-related crimes, including possession. Now, this response is a pushback from his adoption from earlier lenient policies that he actually addressed when he first took office. He said that during his campaign that he would avoid prosecuting people for gun possession unless they were actually involved in a violent crime. And there has been a lot of pushback on that, especially since these officers had been shot. So this is something that has received a lot of positivity from the community. Bianca.
Sarah, thank you. It's great to see that turnout, too, and we will call them heroes here because that's what they are. They're walking into situations, John, that many people would never want to. Sarah Williamson, thank you.
All right, with us now to talk more about this, Minority Leader of the New York City Council, Councilman Joe Borelli. Joe, great to have you back with us. I'm sorry, Councilman. Thank you. Sorry, I got keeping the formalities here. Councilman Borelli, let's talk about what we just heard there from the New York City Police Chief Eric Adams, saying the right things, I guess, but we'll wait to see what if the actions match the words, right?
Well, I mean, just look at how much of a departure it is to see a Democratic elected official anywhere in the country talking about how the police are the first line of defense against violent crime, how we need to reinforce the police, and how we need to build new police units that cost money. If you had said that this was a Democratic politician in 2000 saying that, you would have articulated that they probably wouldn't have a future in that party. And yet here we are, just as a reaction to the past 3 years of the nonsense nonsensical defund the police movement, the nonsensical movements around the country to restrain police officers, and you have the mayor of the country's largest city saying exactly the opposite. And rightfully, people across the aisle, including my party, the Republican Party, are saying, bravo, this is what we want to hear, this is what we want the mayor to do. And frankly, when it comes to reinstating anti-crime units, plainclothes policing, when it comes to beefing up the number of cops in high-crime neighborhoods, he has our support.
Yeah, well, you know, if you need any indication on how things are changing, the political winds are changing on this issue, look no further than the White House. Press Secretary Jen Psaki also forced to admit the truth here. Here she is on this topic.
Gun violence is a huge reason for the surge in crime. Underfunding of some police departments and their need for additional resources, something the president has advocated for consistently through the course of his career.
Remember when she tried to blame Republicans for defunding the police?
No, it's insane. It's like Sherlock Holmes just found a place in the podium in the White House briefing room, because this is what exactly, not just Republicans, but most rational humans in the United States of America had been saying. You know, it is a fractionally small amount of people in every large city committing the overwhelming bulk of gun crimes. It is a very small group of gang members and drug dealers and people who are about that life, who are, no matter what we do, they're going to try to get access to firearms illegally and use them. And until we all sort of acknowledge that and have this coming to the Lord moment where we openly say we have to go after these people, we'll see nothing but the same. So, you know, if the White House wants to change direction, good, right? We can't criticize when he's wrong and not say he's right when he's right. I just hope this becomes some actual policy with respect to policing.
Yeah. Now, as for the new governor of New York, you know, she tweeted out about the fatal shooting of this police officer that a shot from an illegal gun took the life of a New York City police officer. I mean, that's the kind of rhetoric that I think is really dangerous here. It's not a bullet that took the life of somebody. I mean, I guess technically it is, but someone shot that bullet. And this is another thing Democrats don't seem to understand. There's people possessing these illegal weapons. It's not just illegal gun crime that's causing this.
Right. It's not an inanimate gun, but the truth is we have rules against that particular firearm. We have laws against the magazine that was used. We have laws against the way he possessed it, the way he acquired it, the way someone trafficked it from out of state into New York State. But if the governor continues to stand by bail reform and to stand by other legal reforms that allow us to just give slap on the wrists and allow, you know, perpetrators who use those guns to be back on the street before the cop arresting them gets off his night shift, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So she has the opportunity at her level to make serious reforms to a number of pieces of state legislation, most notably the bail reform bill. And if she doesn't do that, well, then it's on her. She's facing a tough re-election this year, and we'll be sure to put the pressure on her to make those changes. Yeah.